It's time for Taste Appeal. Slow cookers are such an amazing invention. Just set it and forget it. And today, Ann Macey from Ann's Table for Two is here to show us how to make a delicious beef stew recipe using our slow cookers. Ann, Happy New Year. Nice to have you here.
Happy New Year to you, too. Thank you again for having me.
It's always so nice to have you.
Thank you.
Slow cookers are really just so easy. Even if you're not someone who's super busy, they're just, you don't have to cook, right?
And it's not rocket science. You throw everything in the crock pot, several hours later, your dinner's ready, you know.
Voila, it's magic.
But I wanted to show your viewers my recipe for two, and I want to show them how I prepped the night before so it's easy for them the next morning, you know, before they've had their coffee to put everything together.
When you're not wide awake.
Right. So I've got about 3/4 of a cup of, I have fresh green beans. You can use frozen green beans, and actually I used frozen peas in the one that I'm going to show you that's already done.
Okay. Yeah,
So
you can add whatever vegetables you like.
I have a cup of chopped diced celery now, and I'll tell you why I'm putting it in here in a minute. And I did this, I added the celery to give it some bulk without any extra calories.
It's right, exactly, make it hearty. I noticed too that you chop it very, very small.
I like as much of everything on one spoonful as I can, that's why I did. You don't have to, you can chop them the way you want to. Okay, that was a good point. Thanks for bringing that up.
Well, hey, I noticed, because I usually like to rush things, you know, get it done, but oops, runaway carrot.
This is about 3/4 of a cup of carrots, and you can, you know, make the variation anywhere you want to. This is 1/4 of a cup of chopped onion. Now you notice it's wet. That's because when you only cook for two, I buy a big fat onion and I chop it up once so I can only cry once, and then I freeze it, and then I just, you know, take it out as I need it.
Oh.
And then a 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic. And I put all of that in one container, and this goes in the refrigerator, okay? Then I take my dry ingredients, and this is 1/4 of a cup of flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, and this is optional. It's a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You don't have to do that if you really are trying
Don't want to. Okay.
Right. And then this goes on the counter. Then I've got a potato that's, I like to use red potatoes.
Me too.
I love I like the texture.
Yeah, I agree.
And just about the size, you know, to fit in your hand.
One potato.
One potato. You can make it a little more if you want to, but I like, you know, I'd rather have the celery and the carrots. And
all the vegetables that are
And you're going to
colorful.
soak it in water, okay? I don't need this right now. The reason why is because if you don't, they will turn brown. So you want to soak it in cold water. That goes in the refrigerator.
Okay.
Then you've got stew meat. This is a 1/2 pound. Geisler's usually sells it in between 3/4 of a pound and a pound. I usually cut it in half of it goes in the freezer for the next time, and I use the 1/2. And the one thing about Geisler's Supermarket is I usually cut it up, because these were about twice the size, but I've never had to trim a speck of fat off of their stew meat. I like that.
So that's right, exactly. You just have to chop it up. It's already ready to go.
And then I put this. So all of this goes in the refrigerator. This goes on the counter. Okay, now it's the next morning. So you're going to take your crock pot out.
Wake up. You haven't had your coffee yet, so you're not quite awake.
You're not quite awake. So you're going to take your stew meat and put it in the crock pot.
That's a little crock pot, huh?
It's
for two, right?
Right. And I have 2 of these. These are great, too, by the way. For Thanksgiving, I usually do my gravy in here and my squash, so it's wonderful.
Oh, yes, that is great. You're full of tips, Ann.
Pour my dry ingredients over that. You know what? I think I'll use this spoon here. Oh, then I'm going to have to use a different spoon. I'll tell you why after. Just kind of toss it a little bit, and then you want to pour out the water. Okay, for the potatoes, so I'm making a mess.
Right, and they're still nice and
that goes in
not
here.
brown.
And then these go in here. Then you take a 1.5 cups of beef broth. Now, my cookbook says to use bouillon cubes and water. Too much sodium, so I've gone to the low sodium beef broth. And it actually has about 1/3 of a cup more than you need. I usually freeze it for soup or something.
That's right, so the less salt, the better.
And a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. And then you put the cover on, you put it on it can cook for 4 to 5 hours on low, or 8 to 10 hours on high.
Okay.
Okay,
and
so
then
when I come home.
Oh, and your kitchen smells so good when you come home.
It smells so good, and of course, I wrote an article for the Advertiser, and I did the beef stew recipe, and I gave them the picture of if my husband's home and he's paying attention, he'll have the fire going and maybe a glass of wine ready for me, and I committed everything's all ready. I like that.
Oh, that is nice, yeah. And you're going to have beef stew, which is nice comfort food. Look at that. It's all, oh, there's the peas, yep.
Yes, see, I used peas this time.
It smells
That's
so
because I ran out of
hey, vegetables are vegetables, whatever you like.
And you can use any kind, and you know, you can use the amount that you want, you know, if you want to use more carrots and less green beans or whatever.
Yeah.
The other
and you can put more meat in it if you want?
You can put more meat in it if you'd like to. My husband's the one, I usually give him more than meat, because when I have beef, I really prefer to have a nice steak. But so he gets more of the beef. Then the other thing is I usually buy one crusty roll, you know, like a grinder roll. And I cut it in half.
Dunk it, right?
I cut it in half, put a little bit of butter, a little bit of garlic powder on it, and I put it in and toast it up. And of course, Geisler's has, you know, the bakery where it's just, you can buy just one, it's all I need is one.
Yeah.
And it makes a lovely little...
Oh my gosh, you know, I just want to be home with a fire. I was going to say red wine, but not yet.
Yeah, not yet, no.
One day I'll have red wine again, but and some beef stew, that looks so good, Ann. Do you mind if I try?
Yes, go ahead. And
Okay.
the one thing is too, is that again, with the bouillon cubes, I think when I print my cookbook the next time, I'm going to take out the bouillon cubes because I've had a lot of people talk to me about sodium, and there's a lot of people who need low sodium, so I'm going to try
Right, so you can just alter it to whatever works for you. This is so delicious.
Thank you very much.
It's so yummy. I wish we were by a fire together with a
There you go.
something, some red wine, grape juice, whatever we can have.
Yeah, I'll give you grape juice. Come over to my house and we'll sit by the fire.
I would love it. I would love it. Well, we'll be back with you in a bit.
Okay.